Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts, Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, BC testing. Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Oh, are you talking?
Yes. Did you break it again?
Let me guess, you can't hear me.
Oh, I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I can't hear you at all.
This is problem. You broke something again.
Why is this happening? Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, hey, hello. What?
Aha.
Stay a while.
I mean,
I
was here. It wasn't.
I need to get a less music box. Apparently, I had this set up. You travel, you move a box anyway. Hello.
Hello, ahoy.
And start. And see, now I'm not as loud in my ears, so I don't know if I'm talking too loud or not.
Oh, well, you sound basically the same for me.
Okay, perfect. That's
definitely better than the beginning of last week. That's totally there. And
totally.
Everything's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What are you talking about? We just started talking last week.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There was no... Yes. There was no prologue last week. Everything's fine.
Oh, this is weird. I really gotta out. Okay, something. Got to do some testing. Anyway, we'll roll with this. I'm not going to test live on air.
Thank you.
We do. No problem.
I mean, that's exactly what we do, but that's not...
It's just one giant test.
So listeners are like, don't lie to us, Collin. We know. It's fine.
All one giant literal A/B testing.
Yes. I guess in this case it would be BC testing, but I'm bummed.
Womp. But it is spring has sprung. Allergies are everywhere. My hands are hurting because I hand tilled my entire backyard, plant new seed.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
My soil in my backyard does not there's not a place for grass to thrive. And I know your listeners may be thinking, well, that's fine because you have a lot of dogs. No, during the winter months we keep a lot of the dogs off of the grass for this very reason, and yet vast swaths of it are dead. And this is mostly because the soil, yeah, that's the word, is very it compacts lots. It gets compacted very, very easily, and which is not a good place for lots of grass to grow. It has it has a high clay content, and so because of that, the spots, like anytime you walk on it, you can just feel like it gets hard as concrete, basically, especially during the summertime, which is not good for grass. So I have to go in and basically re-till everything, and aerate it, and get my grass seed planted.
You just need a more robust grass, right? That's what you need.
I do actually have a very aggressive, mild, massively invasive kind of grass that's adept. The other thing is that literally half of my backyard is in full sun all day, and the other half basically is all shade, which which is a terrible thing to try and plant. So there's this
it's wonderful,
highly unnatural sun shade mix that comes out, and so I plant that, and it does pretty well when it's growing. It just doesn't last. My backyard is tilled. Its grass seed is planted. I have masked calluses on my hands, and there's a lot of straw in my backyard currently.
Did you not wear gloves, Collin?
I did. I actually did. I wore gloves, and nice leather glove, and yet still, because the hand tiller, it's not motorized. You jam it. It's got the 4 prongies things at the bottom.
Oh, it's that one that you twist around?
Yes, and you twist it. And because I twist, and because it's not good loose soil, I'm actively breaking open concrete. It's quite a lot. Which is fun. Yeah.
I feel like you went about this wrong. I feel like you should have been you should have got a little one, right? And been Noah, We're gonna do construction in the yard. Get your orange vest and hard hat. Let's go, buddy. And then boom, done. Like no problem.
Conveniently, he does have a Noah-sized shovel, which he was assisting me next to me. The problem is that the soil. I mean, we're talking like it's not fun to dig into the soil. And so he got bored pretty easily. So then I was having to have him just shovel the parts that I had already tilled, which was fine until, he started like walking and recompacting it. And I was like, no, I don't even have grass seed down. Ah!
Oh, dear. That's weird.
Yeah. But no, so that brought us some good discussion. So we were actually, he got a book from the library all about tractors. So we were learning about the Messy Ferguson and a bunch of other really good ones today. And the book did a poor job of displaying photos of highly specific, like down to the model number tractors, where they'd be like, oh yes, the what was it? The Kubota DC7093P can go up to 98 horsepower. And I'm like, there needs to be a photo of that because I don't know what that is.
Why? What the heck kind of book is this? Like a manual, like a sales manual? What did you get him?
No, seriously, it was a book all about tractors. I will
literally all about.
It was just a giant catalog. No, it was a book, little tiny like learn about tractor book from the library. And it had different kinds of tractors.
No learn about tractor book has that specific model number. Like, yes, well, actually, the 1976
book from the 1930s from some university.
Yeah. No, it's just like an FFA handbook, right? That's what it is. It's just like all the
I'm serious.
They were written 4 miles per hour.
No, seriously. It was like the case D40 ranges from 90 to 112
like a book Dad would have.
Horsepower.
That is a book Dad would have, actually.
While the case D60 and D65C goes up to 300 horsepower. Like, seriously. Like,
what in the heck is happening?
And they talk
what
about,
in the world?
I know. And, I mean, he just loved it and ate it up. The problem is that I was then having to be like, well, they don't appear to have a photo of the case DC65C, so I have to now go and Google this to show you what this is. And then we'd spend time like going on Google and then going that. And they'd also talked about model like the what is it, the 1917 Ford Farmall or whatever that is, like very specific years. And
wow. What in the heck? That's insane. Like
so I learned a lot about tractors.
That's,
I mean,
mind blowing. Like, what in the world?
No, it's a little kid's book. Not like a kid's book, but it was one of those like medium sized hardback book.
It's not a kid's book. All right, no kid's book does that.
But it was going in talking about like how a PTO drive works and what when the 3-point hitch was invented. And why the hydraulic system.
Collin, when was the 3-point hitch invented? Just asking.
Seriously, the 3-point hitch was invented in the 30s. That's how long the thing has been around. Basically, and the PTO drive was invented like in the 30s or 40s as well. Like all this technology, and it was nice because I could, Noah intimately knows Dee Dee's tractor for obvious reasons, and so I was able to be like, hey, remember?
He drives it.
Yeah, he drives it all the time. And I was able to actually look up a picture of that tractor, and I could point him out kind of the stuff on that. But yeah, when you Google like tractor PTO hitch or whatever, like you get some really good spec sheets. I'll just let you know.
Well, I imagine that's all you get. It's like spec sheets.
So it was quite
really weird PowerPoints. You're like, what in the world is this?
Yeah, I mean, they talked about anyway. It was very, very good book. But this is also like, I will also sit with Noah and we will watch drone footage of combine harvesters harvest fields for just for quite a long time. So
what a thrilling watch!
My
just one big giant machine driving in a straight line for like miles.
Yes, but they do the drone shot, so you're going like all the way around it. You get to see it, and then the really cool part is when they overlay like different models of tractors, so you can see the progression. They'll have,
is
like,
it? Oh.
well, they'll be like,
Aaron, hold on. Don't get too excited, Aaron. I know you've dropped your water.
I feel like we've talked about this, where they'll have like the OG harvesters go take a pass, and then they'll go kind of like in subsequent order of like model year, and then they'll do the modern one, so you can kind of see the progression. I've talked about the plowing a field, right? We've done the plow competitions in Iowa. We've talked about this, right?
Yeah, but I did not know that they did like time lapse, like deep chronology dives of harvester technology through the ages in one sort of video essay. That's very confusing that exists. I don't know.
I'll have to refine this. We went down a rabbit hole one time, but it was quite.
Oh my goodness! I mean, we've mentioned that before, but all you did before on the show anyway was mention, yes, we watched some combines, not this level of depth.
No, it is quite interesting where they will bunch of farmers in a wide area will drive their tractors to a field to plow it using historic and modern tractors and different implements. And then they also do the same thing with like combines to harvest them, to showcase them, and to keep the rich farming traditions of the country alive.
Do they have this important question for the plowing competition?
Okay.
Are there mules?
Yes, they do have the mules.
Okay, good. Because I feel like you're missing out on a big part of plowing history. And like people, if you don't have mule teams, like it's like and mule, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's just they'll have one with like the plow, like and plow behind it, and then the scary
like
one,
some oxen, with like the old wood plow, right? Because in England there's no rocks apparently, so you can use a stick
and just drag it
through
the nice already pre-loose dirt.
That doesn't work in Missouri.
Nope. And they the ones that are like super intense to watch are the ones where it is the steam powered. When they get to the steam powered ones, and you're just like, oh, well, this needs to be outlawed. This should not be happening.
Steam powered tractors look like they're going to explode at any given second.
Yeah,
like there's so much like rattling happening. And some of the rattling is supposed to be happening, and some of it I don't think is. And they just sound like, I mean, steam technology in itself is very interesting to me because like you can see everything happening, right? Yeah. It's literally an external combustion engine, right? It's like right there. There's a fire, and it's you can see all the moving parts, and it's all crazy, and it's very like. It meets all the senses, right? There's definitely smells and sights and sounds and everything, but it also looks like, I mean, it is to some extent a bomb on wheels.
It is barely controlled chaos.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Collin, is there a tractor supply near you by chance?
By chance, there is.
Do you just go there and walk around with Noah and just stare?
No, you'll see. You'll see.
Oh no, I'm scared. Oh no.
Noah's birthday present.
Oh no. Love that. He would love that, but no, don't.
It could help with the yard.
That definitely could help with the yard.
He would help destroy
Listeners,
it.
This appears to be some sort of pedal powered tractor implement for children.
Well.
I don't really know what I'm looking at, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like they pedal it, and then they have like little things on the side where they can like move the bucket. Yeah. It's a John Deere tractor with a on the
yes.
We have a
look how helpful that would be for the yard work, Collin. He could move things around.
I don't do it to you, I do it for you.
So
what we give him a whistle. Actually, also on track. What you could also get, Collin, is this is a weird segue because my friend, the guy that I play guitar with, we play music with, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was showing me his new tractor last time I was at his house.
See,
he bought. This is not. He was very proud of this, and he was like. He did the same thing. He was like, "Come check out my tractor," and so I came out to his barn. Expecting like a massive tractor because he lives out in the middle of nowhere on this big farm and all stuff. No, he bought himself a BCS 2-wheeled tractor.
Hey.
Why?
Right? Have you seen one of these things?
No, I'm Googling.
Yo, it's wild. So it has a variety. I don't know which one he bought. I don't know. But he's got it's got a variety of different engines on the front. These hand grips that control everything, and then a PTO shaft that comes right off the axle. Yeah. So it's only 2 wheels. PTO comes off the axle, and there's apparently a bazillion different attachments that you can just attach to this thing.
Yes.
Including a wagon. For reasons. And it can do all kinds of stuff. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen.
To give the listeners some idea of what this is, imagine a garden tiller on steroid with a variety of implements you can attach. It does have the garden tiller. I see that, but then I also
there is a tiller
to mow.
There's a mower. There's a roller. There's apparently infinite attachments to this thing.
This thing. It's large though. I'm looking at this guy. This thing is big.
It is. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's bigger than a tiller. It's probably, I don't know, 4 to 5 feet long.
Yeah, this thing is.
Well, that's with the attachment, the handles.
Sure.
Right.
I am kind of waiting for Noah's mind to be blown when Collin tells him he went to a school that had drive your tractor to school day. So I think Noah's going to flip out.
Just so that we're aware,
one day
when we go to out to eat, they have those magazines at the front of them of things for sale in the area, and
yes, the Thrifty Nickel or whatever they used to have that down here.
It's great entertainment for children, where Noah will go through and he will circle what he wants to buy. So far he is he will circle things like the cable repair truck with the extender arm.
Also, oh no,
he'll get the dump truck, and then he will also request. We'll say, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? He will say, do you want to run your business or do you want to work for somebody? He'll say he'll run his business, and then we'll say, what do you want to do? And he'll just say I want to own a tractor. So his first car may well be.
Oh no, that's horrifying.
That they make sorry, I'm clicking on more buttons than a BCS thing.
Dude, it's wild.
So
it's absolutely insane. It's the craziest thing of all time. That hand grip thing too, it swivels around. So you can actually walk, and you can walk. So you can walk it, but you don't have to walk behind it. If you have a big implement, you walk to the side. So you can walk on where you haven't plowed yet. And it actually spins all the way around 180 degrees so that you can push it.
Well, that's how you use
forwards or backwards. Yeah,
the mower side, because the other way the engine would get in the way.
I
think this is, man, it's cool. I like this a lot. The one thing that we have not done yet is there's a John Deere showroom on the south side of town that I think we just need to stop in and go let him see, because we would.
He would literally freak out and then want to go back every single day.
No,
you would never. You would never not be able to go there.
I mean, you could obviously guess what his mostest favorite part of the Missouri State Fair was.
Oh yeah, definitely tractor showcase.
The tractor showcase.
Yeah,
which was, honestly, it was pretty cool. You get to see them all kind of in a row and walk underneath them and do all that kind of stuff. But it was just that. So yeah, we should probably go to the John. Be good. Fine. Okay. Yes. Man, I have a lot of work.
Well, it's just never ends. It's all right.
Oh. So are you all on the spring break? When is that for you?
Spring break does not exist. It's a myth.
Oh, right. Well,
but we have
we're
grade school that we have spring break and do normal things.
I have to go do games here in a little bit. We got practice tomorrow. So
I was kidding. We have off this Friday because we had parent-teacher conferences Monday and yesterday. So I had to stay at school real late every day. It was very tiring.
So sorry.
Talk to parents. Blah. No.
We had spring break. Both Shelly and myself had spring break this week. So it's kind of nice actually.
Well, it's nice it's together.
This time last year, I would still be working. regardless. So it's actually like, oh, I've had some break in a long time. Yeah. So we have spring break this week. I got to go do practice stuff tomorrow. So, and then other than that, we'll be back to school next week. But it's just kind of nice to how it all kind of aligned and got to be, and we actually get to enjoy it for once.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. We had parent-teacher conferences, and then like tomorrow is like end of quarter celebration day. So like if they made their goals for like behavior stuff, there's like a thing in the morning, and then we just decided the English teacher always does a reading reward party at the end of the quarter for all the kids that meet their reading goals. And so she's just like, well, let's just do that tomorrow afternoon. I was like, yes, fine, go for it. So tomorrow is basically, we're not actually doing things tomorrow. We're just like,
sure.
We're going to be at school, but we're not really doing school things. So, it's fine. So this week was real short. Basically, it was a short week anyway because we don't have school Friday. And then Thursday, we're not really having school Thursday. It's like tomorrow. So we're just...
Sure. That's okay.
It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. It just makes it annoying that I don't really care, I guess, but kind of weird to like stop, start, all this stuff. Like Monday, I'll be like, what was it doing? What was happening? What is science? I don't know. I understand. Temperature, light, I think we were talking about. So it was good. We watched a video today just because I was like, look, we're not going to start anything. We're going to watch this video.
Sure.
But it's everyone's favorite video series, Wild Weather with Richard Hammond time. Kablam. Yeah. It's the good stuff. It's the good stuff, guys. I am doing right by my kids. Okay. It's fine.
They need it. It's good. Like you said, it's good for them.
Yeah. He actually does science, and it's Hammond. And so there's like zany things happening. Like,
sure.
So like this one, the temperature one, he's talking about like dust and how dust is a major factor in the weather. So he goes to Australia and it's like, we need to make a man-made dust storm. So he like whips out this like Toyota work truck and just starts doing mad donuts in the middle of this desert.
Perfect.
Obviously. So like,
yeah,
it's great. So I enjoy it. The kids like it. And this time I made like little video follow along questions, just to be like, hey guys, make sure you're paying attention, watching this. So it helped. They did a lot of good conversations about it and everything. So it was fun. Did that today. Just kind of take it easy. Because we're just starting that part. So I figure like, well, we'll watch this at the beginning of this like chapter or whatever. Because it's kind of talking about, the video contains lots of things that we're going to be talking about. So we have something to refer back to, like visuals and stuff. So
that's helpful.
Yeah. Let's try it out here. See. We'll put it here. Makes more sense than at the end of the unit, I think. Just because like, hey, this is things that we're going to be learning about. So when I talk about them later and say, hey, I can say, hey, remember that video when they did this? And like, oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. We're using recall right now.
Yeah. We did start a new unit in social studies. So we had to have the official talk about the Greeks. Right? We have to have the public service announcement warning at the beginning of when I do the Greek unit. Like, okay, guys, listen. Okay, we have to be mature 6th graders here because we might see Greek art. And, well, the Greeks just really, really loved sculpting naked people. And they're always like, what? Why? Listen, it's complicated. I don't know. Maybe it's too hard to sculpt a shirt. I'm not sure. But they did. So, if we find that, we just have to go, next, and then move on with our lives. We have to be...
and not dwell.
Yes. Like, yes, we have to like just not do that. So we had a whole talk yesterday. This is the official warning public service announcement for the Greek unit that I do just because I don't want any.
Yeah. No trouble. No trouble. Just need to tell them that they hadn't invented clothes yet, and that's fine.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about like all right, guys, really what they're doing is they're like, because their art style was very like stylistic, idealistic, so they were like sculpting, quote, the perfect human form. That was their goal, right?
Yeah.
So they wanted to show all of it. So we just have to move on. So it's fine, but just made sure we give the warning to everybody so that we can move on with our lives and just not deal with it. So it's okay. Because we do a Greek god like presentation, right? And so, every once in a while, you got to be careful. But I told them like, you can like, there's people have been drawing Greek gods for literal thousands of years, so we don't have to use the Greek version. You know what I mean? Like, there are like modern interpretations of like artists draw like Zeus or whatever, but like in a modern style, so it's fine, And actually, luckily, last year, there's this video game came out. It's like a dungeon roguelike thing. It's called Hades. It's all about Greek mythology, and they have like all of the gods and all these art styles, and they look fantastic. So you can actually find those screenshots online, and we just steal some of those too for our presentations. Be like, oh yes, this is Zeus. Blam! There, take that one. So,
yeah,
that's handy. Borrow those for presentation purposes. It's all right. Yeah. So this week's been just a little bit. It's just been like weird because it's like long and boring, but like we don't really get a lot accomplished because there's all kinds of end of quarter and all this stuff and blah blah and interruptions and.
Yeah, we celebrated Pi Day on Monday, and like a month ago, I had told the kids about it, and they were like shocked that it was a thing. And I was like, oh yeah, yeah. Obviously, you haven't been taught by a nerd, so yeah. There's 3.14 a day, and we had pie in class, and they were super excited about it, and they were like thought that I would like have forgotten about Pi Day. Like, are you what? Oh my gosh! Of course I'm going to remember Pi Day. Who's not going to remember Pi Day? What? That's not. How does that even work? Anyway, they were.
Did you show him? Oh, what's that guy's name? The guy, the stand-up maths guy. What's his name? Matt something. Matt Parker. Did you show him any Matt Parker videos?
Did not.
Oh, he always, every year for Pi Day, I don't think I watched the one this year. I haven't seen it yet. He does these weird things where he calculates pi by hand in like really obscure ways. Like one time he calculated pi with pies and like he does all these like really strange ways like the ancient people or whatever used to calculate pi, and he like tries to do them with varying degrees of success. But it's pretty great. So he's
hey, I will add this.
Yeah, he's great, right? Like him, and then the whole like. You ever watch those number file guys? That Brady guy does the number file YouTube channel. Oh man, that guy's great. I love that dude.
To a podcast with Brady Aaron.
He has like 17. So like
many. No, yeah. But I like
the number file is my favorite one. Yeah. I like the one with the curator thing. He does like weird museum things too, but I like number file is my favorite. So I like them. But yeah, show the kids some Matt Parker randomness, or yeah, there's a bunch of people on that channel that are awesome. So
okay. Got it.
Aaron, how is bases and balls going?
Are you still in the dark?
Well, in the dark. What?
Well, you said you won your game because of darkness.
Oh, okay. So man, that was like weeks ago. So
I remember things.
So the first game, for those of you listening, I coach at a very, very small school. And one thing that we don't have at that small school is stadium lighting. So the first game, we technically won off technicality because in the OSSA or the OSAA rules that if the game is stopped by any means, then the game reverts back to the previous inning, and we stopped at the sixth inning, which was 8-8, but the inning before it was 8-4, and so therefore we won. So that was the first game. We then played a doubleheader against a really good team, which we smoked. Got home late, and then the game was it last week? The one that we kind of rescheduled for was actually against Shelly's brother. He's the head coach down there, and we played because there was Ice Storm Part 2, and we played, and apparently you can play when it's like 25 degrees outside, which we did. And so
good to know.
We played, and it was so like annoyingly cold. And so like we played, and we actually won, which was a surprise because my team struggled, but we somehow pulled it off. And so we won, but it was still cold. Then him and I got dinner afterwards because I drove separately because I had to drive the afternoon bus. And so I just drove separately, which kind of worked out because like, oh, I'm like way closer to home instead of having to ride the bus and then drive back. So that was actually kind of nice.
Sure.
To do. But then, yeah, we won, and then it was spring break, which we didn't have school Friday, which was kind of nice, but not really due to that weird snow. But we have a game Monday, I think. But softball, we actually won our first game, which is the first game they won in like 2 years. So that was actually kind of a nice little thing to have for those girls to win for the first time ever.
Nice. Storming the field, carrying off the bases.
No, they were so confused because they. Oh yeah, I almost got thrown out. But the first part, there's
something very unsurprising about that statement, based on how you are me. Like, I feel like that's fair. Like,
you guys have never came down to watch me coach. I'm a vastly different human being. But we're sitting there and like the blue called game, and the girls like were going out to the field, and they're like, "Coach, what to do?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, you guys won?" And they're like, "What?" I was like, "You won?" And they like all became like super emotional, and I was like,
"What do you mean won?"
What? And they're like, we haven't won a game in 2 years. I was like, oh snap! Oh, that explains so much. And so yeah, they won, and it was exciting. They had an away game the next day, which didn't go too well. But the fact that they like won their first game was pretty legit. No, so yeah, I almost got thrown out. I was over there as assistant. You go to first base, and like in baseball, you don't like call the sign, and then like you're like their eyes, so they don't have to like look for the ball and make a nice like easy transition. In softball, it's a little bit different. But first girl comes up, hits the ball, and like chunks her bat, right? Like chunks it, and the home plate umpire is like, "Hey, coach, listen." If this was districts or something, she could be thrown out. Just talk with her. And I'm like, oh, Blue, I got you. Don't worry. And so I'm like, hey, don't throw that. It's ridiculous. Like, you're better than that. Don't throw it. She's like, oh, coach, I'm sorry. And so some other girl kind of does it. And then like she comes up and she does it again, sort of. Our home plate is like, it sits on top of a hill, kind of, and so she like hit it, and then she like dropped her bat, and then it rolled. Well, he didn't see that she just dropped the bat and played, so it rolled, and but she was thrown at first, and so she's jogging back, and he's like storming up the first base line to me. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your coach. And he's like, Coach, I told you twice, get on to him, or I'm going to, call her out, and I may have to throw you out. I don't want to, but I may have to throw you out. And so I was like standing there in like disbelief, and I was like, Blue, like her bat rolled, and like, no, coach, I don't want to hear it. Like, we've been awesome so far, but you gotta talk to your girls. And so, like, on the first base line, I just yell. I'm like, the next person that drops their bat is running. And they all are like, yes, coach. And then this girl comes up. And it is 1-1 at this point, and it's what are we, bottom of the seventh? We have girls, like we runner on first and third. This girl comes up. She's an awesome outfielder. She just like smokes it. Like, oh, that's perfect hit. Let's go. But then she drops her bat, and then like it rolls, and like I see it happen. I'm just like, I will not tell you the words that came out of my mouth. But the opposing coach was like right next to me. He's like, ooh, he's gonna get her on that. I just know he is. And he was walking over to tell the Blue. He's like, oh, runner's out. Like, coach, I already told you once. That's like the fifth time it's happened. One more and you're out of here. And I'm like, he knows I'm not the head coach, right? Like, he knows that. Like, I'm pointing to my coach, who she's never coached before. It's her first year, like, coaching anything. And so, but I'm like helping her get established as a coach, like, the ins and outs of like talking with refs and things like that. And I was like, I'm not the coach, right? Like, you're aware of that. He's like, coach, I don't want to hear about it. And so, of course, I sprint over to the dugout, and I'm like, eyes on me. And I was like, this is what you do not do, because if I get thrown out, you think I'll be happy. And they're like, oh, no, coach. And so, thankfully, we had another girl come up, pops it up, runners in, Blue calls game. And he's like, well, coach, I didn't want to have to throw you out, but, we got to set an example. And I'm like, no, Blue, you're right. I'll get onto them and let them know that that's not what they're supposed to do. And then the next game we had, I went to the refs and I was like, look, listen, please. Do you see this hill? It rolls. And they're like, oh, no, we got it, coach. We'll see it. So, yeah, I almost got thrown out of the game that they won for the first time in 2 years. The
that's all.
Superintendent's like, you almost get thrown out of the game. I'm like, listen, we're gonna have a talk. We need to redo our entire field, because I'm not getting thrown out over BS like that. So, but yeah, they won, but I was just in disbelief. I was like, you got to throw me out right now? Do I have to Tony La Russa this right now? Because I will. What do you come storm that dugout?
What exactly are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to hit the ball and then bend down gingerly and place your bat at the feet of the umpire before jogging off wistfully to first base? Well, is that what you're supposed to do? Like,
I told them that.
This is literally the dumbest rule I've ever heard of in my entire life.
I could see it. I mean, like, why he's saying it, but at the same time, I'm like pointing to the dirt, and I was like, listen, can't get me for that, because that's not my fault. Like, their girls are doing it, my girls are doing it apparently, but I was like, I can't help gravity. You want me to go fight gravity? I can't do that. And so the other was super understanding. He's like, yeah, I see it. I'll let him know. And I was like, can you let him know before he throws me out, please? Because that'd be super not cool.
Right.
But there's a certain way that you like hit, and then like the bat just like naturally goes down to the, like, you can't just like the first time this girl like hurled her bat, like took it and just like swung it to the fence. I'm like, hey, look, that I get. Like, you cannot do that. And I got onto her multiple times. I'm like, we've worked on this. Can't just throw the bat. But she doesn't do it like out of anger. So it's just like awkward to watch her do it, because she's like swings and then like hurls it out of the way. And then she runs. But all the you get hit, and then the bat just comes naturally behind you. You set it and you take off. Like, we've worked on this. Boom, boom, boom. But every other time, it's just the way that it's hit and then just like naturally rolled. And like the last time I did it, I was like, ooh, I'm in trouble. He's going to see that. And sure enough, coach, I don't want to talk to a player. I got to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, come on. Please, I'm not doing anything wrong.
It's fine. It'll be okay. There's a backstop. Nobody's out there. Throw your bat. I don't care.
Well, I mean,
It's
like
dumb.
if we do go to like districts or playoffs, like there's typically another umpire that would be standing there, and the fact that she would that she like I'm talking like took the bat and like threw it.
It's fine. Maybe he shouldn't
Like
stand there.
everything
Think about
else, like everything else, like you hit and like yeah, if it rolls like a distance, like if you hit like a good ball and you need to get going, like yeah, sure, whatever. But the fact that she just took the bat and like overhand chucked it at the fence is a little ridiculous.
It's a fence.
Like,
that's literally what the fence is for. It's okay.
To catch bats.
And so
yeah, the bat catching fence.
Yeah, I was a little peeved. I was like, I'm glad we won, but if you ever get me thrown out of something that we've worked on, I'm going to become unglued. You're like, oh my god, because I've had parents like, oh, we've never had a coach yell at our kids before. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm sorry. Like, no, we love it. It gets the kids going.
Like,
and like,
good. There's more where that came from.
Like,
stop throwing your bats.
I'll be happy. And I looked at her mom and I was like. I gave her the look, and she's like, "Get after her. I don't care." I'm like, "Thank you." And we went to the dugout, had a nice chat, and then I went back to my base and didn't get thrown out.
Good job.
We did not get thrown out of a softball game. Hooray!
Yeah, the other game, it was like 25 degrees and like the 6th inning, and I kept going to the Blues, like the outfield judge. I'm like, so we can play 5, right? And he's like, hey, I have to drive to Oklahoma City after this. And it's like 8:00 at night by this point. And he's like, hey, I got to drive. I was like, oh, well, I have to drive home after this. So if we can also speed this up.
You're like, hey, not my problem. Don't care. Let's go.
That's the fun thing about some of these, small town umpires that they're like, hey, like, I'm just going to speed this up as quickly as possible. And I'm like, hey, fair enough with me. You do what you need to, man.
I gotta go walk my goats, right? So I gotta go. Like I can't stay around.
But for some reason, we found our bat. We started pulling the trigger, and I had one kid go like, "Coach, we can score if we swung." I'm like, "Oh, you're just now realizing that, really?"
You don't say. That's a great idea. Let's try that next time.
One who wins is the one who gets the most points. Amazing.
It baffles me. They're like, Coach, I can't get on base. Like, because you're not swinging the ball. Hit the ball with the bat. Swing, run. I don't care. So, yeah, a lot of it's learning about what is it called? Growth. Growing pains. That's the word for it. Of some of these kids and what all they haven't had to deal with before. So it's like, oh, you guys don't have no idea what you're gonna. Sweet. Thanks. So looking forward to this. But yeah, other than that was their last 2 weeks in a nutshell. So from the cold, blizzard that it was to the 70 degrees that it currently is outside.
The tundra game, too.
Yeah. Riley, his name, Shelby's brother, was like, I'm glad we played it today, but then like that Friday when it was like super cold in the morning and then it was like 50 in the afternoon, he's like, we probably could have waited. And I was like, nah. I wouldn't have wanted to play like with no school and then having to drive here. That seems too crazy. He's like, you're right. But
yeah, that's always weird when they do that. It's like no school, but then we're gonna have the game anyway. It's like, it's not really good. It's kind of no point in doing that.
No.
So, but yeah, we made it work, and so we're currently 2-2 on the season. We got another game Monday. So,
hey.
No, I'm excited. We have practice tomorrow. So I'll go down there and practice. And I got to do some lesson planning. I have not looked at lesson plans at all this week. And so I'm like, ooh, I need to do that. I don't really want to do that on the weekend again.
Yeah, no, you got to get that done out of the way.
So I'll do that. I'll go down there. I'll spend like all day tomorrow. Get set up, do practice again Friday. And then just have like a nice chill weekend. We've been to the zoo this week. The zoo, Tulsa Zoo opened up the first time in a long time.
Nice.
I completely forgot that the avian flu was currently going on, and so that's why a lot of the bird exhibits were not open. You had to go like inside for most of them.
Oh.
And there's a lot more geese than there were actual like animals. So I was a little disappointed, but there was no one there. It was really nice.
Hey, that's good though.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been pretty much our week. Kind of nice, kind of chill. Get back into it. So
Nice. Ooh. So other than tractoring Collin, you've been doing anything else just super fantastic other than blistering your hands, working tirelessly on your lawn? Like, I don't know.
My poor little hand. God. Man, actually, no. Been it's. I mean, it's spring break for us, so business has been busy, quite full, and we getting a lot of inquiries from Springfield, which is nice.
Well, hey, there we go.
Except we haven't quite nailed in the target audience of people who need us. We get a lot of, not a lot, but we get quite a few calls and inquiries about people wanting us to stay overnight at their home, which is fine. Except I am asking an employee to stay in your home from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That is 12 hours of work.
Yeah, that's a lot of, yeah.
Right? So let's just do some quick back of napkin maths here. Of if I am working 12 hours and I pay my staff $13 an hour and they work for 12, let's just say that's $160 for labor, and that actually costs me an additional 30% to pay for taxes, to pay for insurance, and to pay for work comp for them. And now all of a sudden I'm at like 180, 190 just for like them and to have a body there. And,
but so, you don't want to pay $200 for that, man.
And so whenever I quote them at $200, it's they go, never mind. So it's that's been frustrating to get people to that point of helping them understand exactly what they need, why they need it. So I've actually started asking them, going, hey, tell me why you're looking at this. Why do you think you need
get to be there all night long?
Yeah, why? Because what's fascinating is people will go, oh, I just need you to stay overnight and then maybe like one check during the day. So it's like, your pets are what, afraid of the boogeyman at nighttime?
That's kind
of like, what? So that's frustrating to me. And having to explain. So basically I've started to say, are your pets exhibiting signs of separation anxiety, or is there a medical reason why you need someone to care for them? And usually they're like, no and no. And I'm like, great. We offer this other service that is much less costly for you. And you can book that right now. And they don't want that. So it's this weird, like, client education thing.
That's weird. Like, why is the fact that you come in the evening and then come like first thing in the morning, or like relatively in the morning, like that's the same thing, right? You're like feeding their pet at night. Like, okay, so I'm just imagining this is the scenario of like, I'm thinking about like Chuck style, right? So Chuck would eat at night.
Yep.
And then in the morning he would have to take medicine.
Yep.
But there's like no reason that you would have to stay there the whole time in between.
No,
right?
especially since I would my last visit could be at 9:00 and I'll be there at 6 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah. Or even 7, right? It's 7, 8. It doesn't matter. Like somewhere in there.
And for some reason, I will state this. I mean, one, the Springfield market is very, very heavy with people who board and take their dogs somewhere. The vast majority of people are also used to, for just being honest, about having like their daughter's or their son's friend from school come over. and watch their pets. When they kind of reach that kind of middle high school-ish age of letting them do that. So I come in and I'm like, it is $200 a night. And they're like, I'm sorry, what? I had a high school student do this for free last year. I'm like, I know, but you weren't paying your high school above minimum wage per hour to do this.
Yeah. And we can do more than them because we have all these qualifications and trainings and blam, and so
and that's hard, and they don't see that, right? And so it's this weird we're a premium service, but also we're kind of for everybody, but also people don't see it as premium and they don't understand why it costs so much. And so that's where I say we haven't found quite our niche target audience people, but we're getting closer. Right now, just people are throwing darts at a board, and that's fine. I'll be a board for them to hit. I can then do a bit of education about what we do and how we provide it, and really kind of pushing back a little bit on these preconceived notions of what they need for the dog. And that's not to say that the way they were caring for their pet was wrong or bad in any way. It's just not required. That level of care is really not necessary in the vast majority of cases. And that's hard for people to understand, especially the last 2 years where people were cooped up with their dog and they were around them 24/7. And they feel like their dog needs to be around somebody 24/7. When in actuality, they need to be around their dog 24/7, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So it's also yes, addressing the pet care needs, but over and above and beyond that is addressing the client's concerns about what that is, and letting them know it's not settling. That's the other thing that we struggle with a lot is we feel like when we're offering that service, it's a notch down from boarding or from daycare or from something like that. Their second choice. And
but I mean, the dog is in their own environment, in their own home, with their own bed and their own food and their own everything. It's I don't understand how that would be a notch down. I don't, you know what I mean?
It's not around friends, and it's not around somebody, right? This is where they come out. It's not around somebody. And I'm like, yeah, but that's mostly because you want your dog to be around somebody, and in all actuality, it very bluntly here, you have damaged your dog to the point where it cannot function without somebody in a room.
What your dog really needs is your dog needs the walk for the exercise, for the energy draining, right? That release of its tension, its energy. It needs to go on a walk. It needs to be fed, watered, played with, shared affection. But after the walk and all that stuff, it should be ready for nap time, right? It's not
exactly.
If you really play with it and walk with it and do all that stuff, it's it's good for a while. It doesn't need, it wants to be
you were talking about a well-adjusted dog who's able to regulate their feelings and emotions in an appropriate, healthy manner.
That's fair. That's true. Okay, that's true.
The vast majority of dogs who maybe 3 years ago were like that are now they're emotionally damaged to the point where separation anxiety is through the roof. And let's not even get started on puppies who were gotten in the last year and haven't seen the outside world. And so that there's very real psychological, physiological responses going on. And so that's the other part of this of going hey, I know you think that you have to have that kind of service. If you will partner with us and this other trainer and give us 6 months, you won't need to take your dog to a boarding place. But that's, people go, well, yeah, but I could take him to a boarding place today and I'd be fine, right? And then they move on. So it's a little...
Yeah, that's true.
So, at least we're getting hits. And I think, did I talk to you guys? I went, when did we last speak?
It was last Friday. It was not that long ago.
Last Friday.
Less than a week ago.
Yeah. I think I told you I went down and I gave a talk to some people in Springfield, and
I don't know if you did tell us. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I went to it's called the 1 Million Cups by the James.
Oh yeah,
Collin.
You didn't tell us about the latest version.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I went and I spoke with them about that, and it was kind of funny. They sent me an email and they were like, "Come prepared with your thumb drive, with your presentation, and get set up pretty early." And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I have a Mac. And I'm not going to go through this rigmarole of like converting it, but have it be broken and not work and whatever. Because I know they're not going to have a Mac and it's going to be a PC and I'm not going to be able to make the conversion work. And I don't have Windows, Microsoft, any products at all. So I can't even make that. Like, I can't even double check this. So I was just like, I'm not doing a talk. I'm not doing a presentation. I show up and
Google slides it, man. Boom. Got them.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know if I'd have access to their computer or how it was going to work or what the setup was going to be. And then I would have to log into my Google Slide and I didn't know their password. I didn't know their email.
Fair
I was just like, I'm just going to like, I can do this. I literally, they asked me to speak for 6 to 8 minutes, which is almost impossible for me. And so,
yeah, 6 to 8 minutes. Listeners of this show will attest to the impossibility for Collin to be brief.
I could like, almost not be that brief. So like
Collin and brevity do not go hand in hand. I mean, same. Let's be real.
Hence the show. And so,
yes.
So I just came in and I was like, he was like, oh, you need to go over here and get your PowerPoint. And I was like, I don't have one. And he looked at me very, very concerned. And I get it, right? It's a business meeting. They're businessy people here. Like,
must have PowerPoint.
People are wearing their stupid name tag for their business, with the branding on it. And I just wanted like, oh, I couldn't stand it. It was a bit much.
My sidetrack, I think I mentioned this before too, but anytime I used to have to go to conferences like that and they would give me a name tag to write my name, I would always write the first half of a Laffy Taffy joke on it.
So you would have to finish it when they asked you.
Yeah. Much more memorable that way.
No, this is not they give you a name tag. This is people who came from their office with their own name tag.
Ew, gross. That's disgusting.
I know.
Get out.
I know. I couldn't. And I'm sitting there and people like, again.
Mine would just say, what's a tree's favorite drink?
What is it? Favorite drink?
Root beer.
Oh, good. So I'm way out of place there because I'm wearing my Vibram 5 fingers. I have a hat that says pet sitter, and I got like this like pullover hoodie thing, and everyone else is in their businessy attire and their business casual stuff, and they're
that is your business. You walk dogs for a business. That is your business attire. Like, so look, here I am, ready to walk.
That was what was why I like giving these talks, and I like going into these situations where it's like it's for entrepreneurs and it's for business owners to talk business. And then I come in there and I'm like, I walk dogs for a living. That's how I pay for my kids' school by walking dogs every day. And you can just see the look on people's faces. They're like, what? And then I'm like, and I have employees who also walk dogs, and this is my plan. And it was great. I love doing that, and it was kind of cool. They had students in a business class and marketing class from Evangel who were there, and they were going to do a SWOT analysis on my business. And I was like, that sounds very official. Have fun. Good
luck.
You will find lots of dangers. But one of the people that I talked to was like, he's just straight up said like that what you offer will not work for me. So instead, I was like, so where do you take your dog? He said, oh, I drive 45 minutes away to a boarding facility, and it's not much. They don't get a lot of room, but at least they have constant observation. And it just struck me of like, wow, like that is how much this person believed they need that. They're willing to drive an hour and a half round trip, which is quite like, imagine that like you're leaving for a week and you have to somehow find time between your job, students, your kids' schedule, driving your dogs to a place and then coming back and then repeating that on the back end.
I don't want to drive an hour and a half anywhere. Ever.
So I was like, so that's where all of a sudden I was like, okay, I need to start being able to better communicate. Like, imagine this. You leave and magically your pets get cared for and you return and they're there and happy when you walk through the door. Like, ooh.
Yes.
Like
mystical.
You don't have to do anything. Firework. Whatever. So it was it's very eye-opening about just talking a little bit more with those people about those services. And one of the things that I kept getting asked over and over again was like, how far out do you service? How far out do you service? Which is a tricky question because like I would love to be able to service 45 minutes around Springfield. I would capture all the bedroom communities. I would capture all, because right now are the thing I told them, I said, the biggest thing that we're running into is the people who actually need our services don't live in Springfield, but I only serve Springfield.
They live in like Nixa and Ozark and Republic and Rogersville. And
the moment I step outside of Highway 65, Highway 60, and the interstate, those boundaries around Springfield, drive time goes through the roof trying to get to people.
Oh yeah, because it's so spread out.
It is. It's so spread out, and I don't make enough money to reimburse my staff for either drive time or mileage. It's almost 60 cents a mile to reimburse people at this point. And if they're doing 20 miles round trip, like,
they're
going to make more driving than they are on the actual visit. So anyway, it's, and so, it was again, helping people educate people about like how the business operates and like what we have, like how we think about things. And the fact that like, a lot of people who grow their pet businesses, they have 45 staff. I talked to a lady literally this morning. She lives in Boise, Idaho, and she has 55 employees. 55. But
what?
55. But
55?
Only 5 of them are full time. The rest of them work like 10 or less hours a week. But that's the kind of staffing you need.
Well, I mean, Idaho is so like vast.
That's the kind of manpower you need to make these kind of things work. And that's why I'm not servicing Rogersville, Nixa, Ozark, Willard, Battlefield, Republic, like all of these bedroom communities. Like I can't go there yet. And so we do have plans of like the things
working
that we spent
on it, but not now.
But not now. The things that we spent this week working on are actually, we are trying to hire in Ozark.
Like,
so that person does Ozark and Nixa because they are within a 5-mile radius around Ozark, which is great. They'll touch the very south side of Springfield, but I won't have my central Springfield staff driving way out of their way. So that's what we've spent this week working on, is really focusing on like strategically, like how do I grow and what do I do here? That's taken up lots of my give me lots of migraines this week about trying to make that stuff work. And no, it's exciting. And we're, like I said, we're starting to get traction, which is good. It's slow, and that's fine. It feels good to get phone calls. It feels bad whenever I'm like, I can't help.
Like, it is weird to that conversation. That's just the weirdest conversation of like, no, you don't want that. Okay, just let me tell you what you actually want.
No, it is.
Like,
or they call me and they're like, I want drop-ins. We've heard great things about you. Your rate looks good, and I'm like, yes. And then they're like, I live south of Ozark. Like, nope. Anyway, never mind.
I live in Hollister.
No,
I'm sorry.
No,
what?
Seriously, one guy was like, well, he goes, we live in Hollister. And he said, I live in Hollister and I have horses. How much could I pay you to come down and take care of my horses? And I was like, not enough. Like, I just, unless all of a sudden I start offering a bespoke, like, equine service and hire an equine person to do that, it doesn't make sense. I can't fit in driving to Hollister to do a horse care, which takes over an hour to do, depending on what they need, to then also do like 30-minute drop-in visits on a cat or else. Like, it's just like, so that's
wild.
It is. It's fun. But I did get lots of good business cards, which people were like, do you have one? And I was like, no, I hate business cards, as I was taking theirs out of their hand, which was good. Because I was like, they always get thrown away. And I thought,
it's true. It's kind of like at this point in life, like it's kind of like an environmental waste to have a business card, right? Like, I feel like that's one of those things that's not necessary anymore. You know what I mean? Like, a business card is not a thing that you need. Like, I'm not going to go back to my office, tape it to my Rolodex, right? This is not a thing that's going to happen. I'm going to, like, just not.
No. And so it's always funny whenever people, they come to these networking events and they have business cards and they hand them out and they're like, like, do you have one? And I'm like, no, I don't give one out because I always just throw these away at the end of it. And then I put their business card in my pocket. I'm like, anyway, what's your name?
Yeah, casually throw it on the floor. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, I think in very particular situations, or like what we do, we don't have business cards. Instead, I have a business card shaped thing that is a magnet. And I put that on my clients' refrigerators whenever I leave for the last time. And so they have that on their refrigerator. Like, boom. Like, that's what I'll do. But I'm not going to go out and spend $45 to get double-sided, printed, laminated, high gloss crap. Like, it's like, no, I'm not. No, thank you.
Well, it's a very, I don't know. It seems just such an antiquated thing, right? I mean, it's literally Victorian, right? Let's be real. Like, that's what, like, guys, come on. You don't need to do that. Show up at the dinner, present your card to the thing. They read it off to everybody, right? Like, you don't need that anymore. Guys, we have the internet. Literally, we have the internet. What are you doing? Why? You know what your name badge should be? Dude. Brilliant idea.
What?
Ready? Your name tag should just be a QR code that goes to your website.
So here's that QR tag. So I have thought about QR codes. There's also this growing, like, here's the thing that people are trying to replace these with, is they're trying to replace them with digital cards of, like, you have an app on your phone and you touch your phone to somebody else's phone and it transfers your, like, information to them, or it pulls up a little mobile website thing that they can tap on stuff and send things to you.
Yeah, but, like, I don't understand why it's not just like your, like, it just needs to be like your business Instagram account or like something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's already all these things that do this job online. There's like business Facebook pages, Instagram, Twitter, actual websites. So just like, you just need to get, that's all you need.
I know.
You don't need a business card. You don't need a fax number. Go on. Just get.
This is the thing of, like, they're trying to solve a business card with a business card, and the whole concept of a business card is not relevant anymore. Like, send them, like, yeah, exactly, a QR code where you can tap, you can scan it and it sends you to your information page. Like, what you need to have is, okay, you just need a page on your website that's not listed or surfaced by Google, whatever. It's just
that's true.
Page.
Yeah,
it's a hidden page, and it's just your information page. It's just the, like, about me page or your contact page where it only goes to there from the QR code, and anybody who gets it sees that, and that's all your information and all of your links and everything. That's what people want. But instead, I get these. I didn't throw away 2 of them. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at these, and I'm like, there's, like, information density on these is so little. There's hardly anything here. It's mostly just
it's like a name, a logo, a phone number, probably the website address.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's all over engineered and architectured, because I know they're like, oh, don't put too much on there, but also do they need to know about you and put some of your personality on the business.
Oh yeah, it has to stand out from the others, right? All that stuff. Like,
like, they're all the same size. And you know what? People will go out and they'll get different size business cards, which makes it even more annoying because they don't fit in your pocket. Or you'll have a stack of, like, I went to something and I had like a stack of 20, and there was 3 of them that were squares, like literally squares. And I was like, that's the worst shape possible.
No, here's what you do. You get a name badge, but it is just a QR code. So people ask you can just go, here.
Yeah.
Boom. And then, like, if you go someplace and you do bring your presentation with you, make your last slide just a QR code. So they can be in the audience and go, boom, got it. Like, that's all you need, right? You can just put it up there. So if they are interested, they can go, pow, scan it. They're at your website right now. They're at that page, that landing page that has all your information on it, laid out in a much more aesthetically pleasing and easy to access manner than a little teeny tiny business card. And they just go, whap, got it. And then if they meet you again and they forgot it, you can just be like, oh yeah, here, scan this thing I got on my shirt. Boom.
Here's the other thing I like about that kind of approach, because here's what happens. You're in a conversation and somebody goes, do you have a recommendation for them? You're not going to reach into your briefcase, because nobody has a briefcase anymore, and you're not going to pull out the stack of business cards. Nobody has business
The
cards.
sadness of Collin.
I
mean,
okay.
yeah, Collin does have a briefcase. Let's not be
Okay.
not lie.
So look, okay, Dad gave me a briefcase recently,
See, you see,
and
you're a businessman. You're a man of business. You have to have a briefcase.
But I have decided to dedicate that briefcase to that is my teaching briefcase. All of my teaching things, all of my teaching pens, because I had a backpack that I was using back and forth. I have dedicated that whole briefcase. It's where all my books, paperwork, pens, everything just goes in there, so it stays in there. So when I go to school, I grab that and go. But anyway, of like nobody would hand out my business card to share it to somebody while they're talking to them. But you know what they do have on them? They have a phone. And they have my website, they have my contact information on their phone where they can send it to you. And it's like, I want that. I just so anyway, business cards suck. And I can't stand it of I watched that clip so many times.
Or, dude, you could just your next brand of pet sitter shirts.
Yeah,
they just have the QR code printed on the shirt.
See, I can definitely integrate it into the logo, which would be super easy.
Or just like on the front, like one side is like the pet sitter logo, and the other side, like the other like breast area, is like just a QR code.
now the problem with this is that washing does degrade.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But
we'll stick with the name tag thing.
With the name tag for now. Clip it onto me. But yeah, man, I tell you what, I was just I was definitely a fish out of water. These people the meeting here in town locally is very much more relaxed attitude. This one, like, whew, a lot of people who think very highly of themselves.
I mean, yeah.
Which is just that was good. It was fun. I got a lot of good reception from it, and made some good connections. And that's why I did. I wrote down people's names because I do want to reach out to them about some stuff. One guy was in business operations, and hold on. Business operations and business solutions, and he's like,
"That's not real. That's not a real job.
It's not really not, but it's quite fun." So he does consulting, and he's a fractional COO.
What does that mean?
COO, Chief Operating Officer.
I know, but what's the first word?
Fractional COO. I wonder if there are multiple COOs in the company.
Maybe.
And he's like,
is one part. That's a terrible name, fractional COO. Like that just sounds made up. That sounds like a boss I fought in Elden Ring the other day. Like that just doesn't sound real.
Yeah. I don't. Oh, okay. So he is he's an outsourced COO. So he takes. He's
like a freelance chief operating officer.
Yeah, no, you're growing. You need help. It sounds like you give them.
So he's just one of those consultation dudes.
Yes, that's all he.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That's very odd. Yeah,
it's a really odd title.
I wonder if he gets ownership of the company as part of fractional COO, because chief operating officer.
Surely not.
That would be bizarre.
That's surely not.
Hopefully not.
Because it's just operations and stuff. That's not like anything else. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
This is just, okay. Anyway.
But still.
Okay. So that's it. Anyway. So that's our stuff. Growing. So all my updates. Sorry, that was long.
There you go. That was all right. Again. 6 to 8 minutes, not possible.
I had a 2-hour drive. I practiced that talk so many times. It was like timing it as I was going down. It was like 15 minutes. Okay. 14 minutes. Okay.
Did you just like talk faster? Is that your plan?
No. I mean, I like the process of going like, I mean, editing myself is extremely hard. And so whenever I have an opportunity to do that, like, again, I don't try and memorize speech and give it exactly word for word, although I can do that. I like trying to distill down the information to a very singular point. And so,
yeah, because then you have no room to like, if you have a new thought like midstream, you can't go, oh, wait.
Yeah. Like, if I have to go off, yeah. But I got down
Which
to
is what I do.
I got it down to, my name's Collin. My wife and I run Funky Bunch Pet Care. And today I want to talk to you about 2 services and 4 prompts. And then that was my outline. And then, right. And so, and that was all I needed of like, my 2 services are dog walking, pet sitting, and then the 4 promises our company gives to our clients. And I would talk through how we operate within those. And that was like, okay, like that was a very clarifying moment of whenever I was like, that's it. Like, that's all I need to talk about. Now, I could have talked about that for 45 minutes, but I managed to do it 7.5. We're good.
Hey, pretty good.
But we need to have a whole. I think we need a topic on contemporaneous speeches and public speaking and all sorts of that good stuff. I think that
okay,
because both you being educators, you do that all the time. And
extemporaneous speaking is literally my job. That's all I do.
And I want to learn more about your processes to do that. So anyway, I'm adding that to the list. We have such a long topic list. We have to stop. We have to start actually getting these.
That's fair.
I just realized that I scrolled up and I was like, it's on a page and a half, and these are in font.
That's good. Listen, we've been going for like 2 years. We still have a giant topic list. We're doing good, man. It's fine. Just means we're in there.
Okay. Extemporaneous. Okay. Anyway, I'll do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you also do that. This is your side hobby here as a podcast host is basically that as well. So, but yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we have given our one listener in France quite a lot to go over.
That's fine.
Our listeners in India, hello, in Pakistan, hello. And
what's up?
We'll call that a wrap this week, I believe.
There you go. I did want to mention one more thing real quick, briefly.
Yeah, please.
I found out the other day, so I've been doing it all day. Yeah. This is partly in reference to last week's end topic on Ukrainian related things.
Sure.
If you go on Duolingo right now and you learn Ukrainian, all ad revenue that they get from Ukrainian lessons is being donated to Ukraine for things. What? So if you want to join me in learning some Ukrainian language.
Okay. Yes.
It's very fantastic. It's very confusing because I don't understand the Cyrillic alphabet at all. And so this is it's a very interesting challenge to try to undertake. So I started doing that today. So I was like, oh man, doing this. This is hilarious.
It's reading fantastic. The letter from the CEO.
Of the CEO, yeah.
Louis von Ahn.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Really,
yeah.
It's a very interesting way to do that. But I like
it's very interesting. There's a lot of very interesting things that are happening with people like helping. Have you read about any of that stuff?
Most of the world that I see from news reports involves pets and pet transportation.
Well, Poland is doing that. There are groups in Poland who are specifically undertaking helping Ukrainians with pets fleeing the country. There is also like Airbnb. I know I
saw that.
You see that? So they are letting people make reservations for Airbnbs in Ukraine. But like,
even though
they're not, no one's going in or out. Like, it's basically just like, yo, I'm giving you some money. Here you go.
To not use them, which I think is great.
Yeah, and then they're like opening up and discounting stuff for a lot of Airbnbs that are in places like Hungary, Romania, and Poland for refugees. They're keeping those open for them.
One of the really touching ones. Real quick, Duolingo reports a 485% increase in people studying Ukrainian.
Yes, good. One of those is me.
Yeah, good job. But one of the more touching stories I saw was the moms who were going to train stations and leaving the
strollers
and stuff because they knew parents weren't, they were fleeing and they didn't have anything. Those are some hard to see images. Just kind of envisioning.
I just saw the empty strollers just lined up at the stops. That was pretty crazy. There's another one too. One of some sort of ride sharing company like Uber, but in Ukraine. I can't remember the name of it currently.
Okay.
They are like people are going on their website and just like paying for people's rides. Like say, hey, here.
Yeah.
So they're just like donating. So they're paying the operators and everything, and then they're like waiving the fees and stuff. Airbnb is also waiving fees for the Ukrainian people too. I read, so there's no like transaction fee. It's just all straight 100% to the families and stuff. So, so there you go. Some good things happening there, I guess, on that front from just random people all around the world trying to chip in and help in little ways that make a big difference. So,
well, and that's the thing that you forget, or it's like I'll learn Ukrainian in a little bit. We'll go there, but if thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people are doing that, and it's like not only do you like make yourself better by learning a new language and being able to understand news or whatever coming out of there, or like you can relate to people better. Like it's that compound effort when people get involved with things like that.
That's one of the weird things about like situations like this in the age of the internet, right? Because like there are things that happen like just much more outside of other areas. People can do things in other spaces to help and just be connected in different ways that are useful, right? Not like it's why the internet can be good sometimes, not all the time, but
No, yeah, that's a good point. Of like, there's a much larger, a much more diverse way of helping in ways that were never possible. I mean, even 5 years ago, right? Of like, what's capable of. No longer do you just have to write a check to Red Cross or UNICEF or something. It's like I can do that, but I can also pay for somebody's ride share, or I can do this other stuff too.
Yeah, or I can like give money directly to those people walking Ukrainian dogs, right? Like I can do that. Like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see people doing that kind of stuff. Just trying to help the Ukrainian people in little ways. That, like I said, those little ways make a big difference because there's some pretty nasty stuff going on. So, I was telling my kids about it today. We've been reading some nonfiction articles for like current event things about it, and it's pretty good. They've had some good conversations about it too. So,
okay. Well, I will have a link to the Duolingo stuff in there, so we'll go out and do that because that's good. That's That's a little bit of light in this.
It's a little bit light. It's fun. It's easy. Like you can do it without even like, you're not really doing anything. You're sort of like but you're kind of contributing in a unique and interesting way. Even that's all you can do. So every little bit goes a long way in situations like this. So come learn Ukrainian with me as I struggle to understand the syllables and phonetic sounds of a completely different alphabet.
Okay, challenge. Maybe
that's right.
Okay.
We'll do that. I think we should do some sort of Ukrainian-based challenge. We should do like learn something about Ukraine or something. We'll workshop this.
Okay. We'll actually do it. I think we should actually. You know what? I'm committing to on air before we sign off to doing something about either learning Ukrainian history or culture or something along those lines for our next show because I think that'd be very good. Aaron,
quick update. I know it's not anything Ukrainian, but Shelby and I had our cake testing. Monday.
Well, hey.
Yeah. So slowly get.
Okay.
All right. And wedding updates also important. Okay. Don't worry.
Aaron cake tested, and the results were what?
Yeah, favorites, runners up.
So there was, I can't remember her name that we picked from, or like the baker that we're picking. So
that's right. You can give her a shout out next time.
One of them is we get 3 weirdly. So red velvet,
classic. Susan approves.
Vanilla,
okay,
and southern pecan.
Weird,
interesting choice.
And then we have pecan and cream cheese. Not cream cheese. Cream cheese. Whatever.
Probably.
Filling.
Yeah, cream cheese.
So, going to be a 3-layered cake. Going to be 14 inches base-wise, I think. But we went down there. Super difficult to find. It kind of reminded me of Collin, the off Springfield, where like she lives and is based in like a different city, but has her base of operations, if you will, here or in at least in Tulsa. And so we had to like search for it. And then once we found it, she had like all this stuff laid out, and she's like, "Oh, you pick whatever you want." And so we preset what we wanted. Shelby sent me a PDF like while I was in school, and she's like, "Pick your favorite." Like, yes, ma'am. So picked her favorite. Went out there, had the cakes. She had the little sample pieces set up, and they were so good. And I regret like eating dinner beforehand, but we went out there, sampled, and picked our 3. And so we'll once the wedding gets closer, we'll kind of go from there.
Sweet. I was really concerned about where this was going with. It reminded me of Collin's office in Springfield. I was like,
"Oh no, sorry!" Like
the cake did, like it was brown. Like I understand.
Particle board
like,
interior
separate,
doors. Yes.
Like a separate like base of operation.
Okay, yeah, it's
fair. That's fair. Okay,
that's fair. But when you first started that sentence with the cake reminded me of Collin's office, I was like,
what? I had a very memorable smell that was conjuring by that statement. So I was like, Eric, you have the convicts in the the penitentiary, and you have particle board cake. This is it. You know, it's something.
Yeah, no, not one of those. Sorry.
It's all good. That's hilarious.
Okay, keep the updates coming.
Yes, wedding updates for everyone.
When's the date? Anyway, we'll talk about it. Okay.
29th of April next year.
Okay.
Yes, not this year, because every time I hear it, I'm like, this is the next one, but it's not. So
it's probably not on mine.
We sent group messages.
That's because we haven't got the save the date thing yet, Collin. Clearly, that's why.
We haven't done that yet. But,
wait a minute.
We have it.
Anyway, April 29th. Okay. Oh, it's in there. Oh, look at that.
All right, good job.
Because Megan made a comment when we first sent the invite or sent the notification thing. Because you're like, that's on a Thursday, and she's like, it's next.
Oh yeah, it's next year. Yeah.
Oh, also, it was in my calendar in March, so I just moved it to April.
That's why you couldn't find it. You put it in the wrong month.
Okay.
Good.
Perfect. Good stuff. Okay.
Right.
Great. Okay. So, we'll do the Ukrainian challenge next week.
Right. We'll workshop that a little bit off air to have a more efficient thing. Going to be learning Ukrainian on Duolingo. So join me. I sent you my usernames. You can add me if you download the app. Blam. Okay. Got him.
Good. And that's all I have.
All right.
Very good.
Very good.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.